Okay, so let's start from where we left in the last movie. Okay, so our front end is ready. It's not beautiful. Let's make it a little bit beautiful. Not more, but we can try a little. And I would be adding here an image view just to make, because images are very good and very powerful. I'll drag and drop my image out here, anywhere, and I'll just choose the default options. And now I'll click back here, click again on this, and the image would be, let's just say this restaurant. And there we can see it's little distorted, so I'm gonna scale it to the fit. It looks good now, and I would like to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so there we go, a simple coffee image app which doesn't really look good, but still I can change the background a little grayish so that it looks at least a little nice. And there we go, looks a little better compared to the last one. Okay, so everything is good. Let's click on this Venn diagram and try to just link everything out there. In fact, I would like to get distraction-free environment a little bit. Okay, we don't need this guy as well. Okay, so just after when the view is being loaded, I would like to link all of my elements. So I do need this input box, so I'll hold my control key and drag and drop. So when you see this blue line, just let go. And it's outlet, so it's gonna say, let's just call it as input, and let's connect this. And this is gonna be my output, so again, control and drag. It's really simple, and let's call it as output. So there we go, output. Connect this guy as well. And finally, our function with the click button, and this is actually an action, and I'll call this simply click. So let's just connect this, and now here we can actually write our code logic, and it's gonna be very simple logic. Everyone will be able to understand it without any much details on the app development, but still, just to make you refresher, and you should have something in your hand while learning the Swift. This is gonna be your app. So first we need to take the input, so all you have to do is let's hold our input into a variable. So let's call it as inp, funny name for the input, and it's actually input and dot. I need a text field, but the problem again here is when I get this input in the form of inp, it's actually a simple text which is a string. And although I can just click on this and bring this guy back here, and I can select my keyboard type as a not URL, the numpad. So obviously user will have no option other than just having a number pad out there, but still Swift really doesn't work in that way. It says that whatever the input that you're gonna have, it's gonna be coming in the string format. We do have a warning here that np was never used. Would you like to replace it with underscore? No, we don't. Okay, so how can we get rid of this? Now all you have to do is wrap it around in the int, but I'm not sure whether the input that is coming here is gonna be convertible into the text or not. So that's why it's giving us an error, and it will give you a suggestion to include the exclamation mark that we haven't studied yet. So I'm gonna add it by myself, and this is also not gonna fix a problem. It again needs to be converted like that. So again, really not friendly for you. What are these exclamation? And we will talk about them in the optional chaining and things like that. So that's okay, perfectly okay. So what we want to do here is, now let's just change our output labels. So what we call this as simply output dot text, and that is gonna be equal to, let's just use the string interpolation. So there we go. And what I'll be doing is simply using the inp, and this inp is gonna be multiplied by 5. Let's just say for the time's sake. So np is being multiplied by 5, and again we see a warning that np was never mutated. Consider changing it to the let. We will do it later on, don't worry. And there we go. So we have changed our label to something which is being driven by the code out there. Okay, so let's convert it to the let, and this is just to show you that it do recommend a lot of things to be converted like that, and the error is gone. Okay, so looks good, everything is fine, and I do want to run it. So let's just run this, hit the run button, and bring the simulator back here. This is our coffee calculator. You can see in a minute the zoom effect. In a minute. It's trying to run this. It's a little bit slower because it's in the beta. I can understand. Your version, which is going to be 8.1 or maybe stable 8, is going to be much more faster than this. And in fact, I have reported a couple of bugs that I did encounter out there. We can see a nice icon of the coffee calculator. I'm already impressed with that. Okay, still attaching the files. Okay, take your time. Okay, we can see a very not so nice looking app. And if I click on this, and it's still taking a little time. Okay, not the fastest one, but don't expect that the update is gonna make your phone slower. It's just a simulator. And let's just say 22, and I need one more 2. And notice this is a bug because 1 2 is getting smaller, 1 2 is getting bigger. But again, and notice this output here. If I click on this, it changes to 110 because we are just multiplying it by 5. So that's what we get when we multiply it by the things. And there we go. Let's stop the simulator and modify a couple of things. For example, this output, we don't need this. So we can now put just a space or blanket out there. So we don't have anything, and when you'll click on that, suddenly magically your output is gonna appear here. Now in fact, we can do one more thing. That in the launch screen storyboard, we are not having anything. So let's just put a couple of things out here. And let's bring this guy back in this mode. I'm clicking a lot of places. I hope you are managing with me. So let's just put a label here. And there we go, a label. And let's just select this guy. Make the background black. Okay, that's look neat. And this is gonna be simply saying a coffee. I need to spell it correct. And this is gonna be white. And oops, the background should be black. And let's close this. And now this is gonna have a background, a color actually of white. And the background for this should be black. So the background should be black. There we can see. And let's increase the font a little bit. I need to shrink it a little. There we go. And move it to the center. And also add an image so that it looks good. I'm just making a little bit tweaks to make sure that you play around with your files. And let's use the same image of the restaurant. I like this image quite a lot. And let's have an aspect fill this time. It looks a little bit big, and the shadowy effect makes it a little bit embossed out there. Okay, and there we go. Okay, looks just okay to me, but it's a good idea to just launch it into the simulator so that we can see it. Let's run this, and I hope I did click on the run button. Yes, I did. It says building, and now we can see a little bit of the animation effect of the images on the launch screen as well. But for that, we have to be a little patient here. Okay, running. Okay, now we can see it is little out of the scope. Okay, because I didn't put the constraints here, but now we can see it works really good. The output is gone, and if I click on this, it is gonna take a little time. Let's say 33, and click on this, and it just appeared 1 because it's a little bit out here. It's not getting complete out here. That's why I like to put the constraints on the things. Again, not a problem. And there we go. On the constraint, which is here, we can see it's being shrinked a little. I need to expand it a little. And there we go. Now our box is good. And let's run the app again. Okay, so the cock already I'm liking the icon. So this is a very stock images icon. We forgot to place this into the center. No problem. We can do it later on. And now let's click on this. And 33. Click. There we go, our 165. Okay, so not so good app, not at all very impressive on the planet, but yes, you got a little bit of the different thing from what you are studying so far. So see, now you're studying and understanding the code out there, not much of it, but still you do understand what is the input text field, how we are converting the values into the integer from the strings, how we are getting the output, what is this string interpolation. We are not familiar with the functions and what is this view controller, but again, we will have most of the ideas in the Swift class, and definitely when we will move on to the complete iOS 10 developer course, things will become much more easier.